Hey guys, welcome to Woodshop 101. This is episode number 124 for April 23rd, 2018. On today's show, we're going to talk about all things Diresta.
Who's that guy?
I am Drew Short of the Rockin' H Woodshop, and I'm joined today by my co-host, as always, Jeremy Crawford of the Countryside Workshop. What's up?
What's going on?
Jeremy, come on. You got to stick with me here.
Hey, look, I'm typing away and I'm trying to listen to you. So
You also forgot Sam on the.
Yeah,
on the
I was just going to say.
she's
Nope.
on mine.
Nope.
Well, we
I'm
got
not.
Sam too from Sam Ryan Designs. How's it going, Sam?
Good. How are you?
All right, and we've got our special guest host from last week, the man, myth, legend, Jimmy Diresta. How's it going, Jimmy?
I'm doing good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, see, look, he's going to get
That overmodulate?
radio
I'll move the mic away. Thank you for having me, guys. It's been fun.
voice. What's going
Oh,
on?
you're very welcome. We appreciate having you. And before we get started, we want to thank our patrons, Michael Brindle, Devin Richter, Sean McHenry, Carl Mose, Neil Sims, and Eric Rhoten. Thank you guys very much for helping us keep the lights on here at Woodshop 101. Basically, this is our fast and loose episode, so we're going to kind of get things going really quick, and then we'll fire some questions at Jimmy. Mm-hmm. So if you would like to support the show, you can head on over to woodshop101podcast.com/listen. Find the show notes for today's episode, and there will be links for small one-time donations and reoccurring donations. If you want to become a patron of the Patreon campaign, just head on over to patreon.com/woodshop101. All our patrons have access to our after show, and you can also buy Woodshop 101 podcast t-shirts, hoodies, rev marker packs. And to get in on that, just go to countrysideworkshop.com/shop for the link. So thank you guys very much. And Jimmy, I hope you ate your Wheaties today and got your brain power going, because we got several questions we want to send your way.
I'm ready.
So
Those were the best.
cat?
That
Cat, I think, is by your microphone there.
those are pretty good.
What do you got?
Yep.
Okay, so
Spitfire.
Bearcreekwoodworking sent our first question. How can I get an ice pick?
Oh, you got to wait till I make them. That's the biggest problem. We have a bunch of ice picks in process right now. I have a guy that helps me make my he does my solder joint for the sheath. I'm looking around. I don't have one here at the table. But the sheath, the solder joint at the top of the sheath, I prepare all the tubes, and he's a better solderer than me, so he solders the top joint right there. So he has about 400 right now he's soldering, and when he gets them back, I will be ready to package them and sell them. So just got to keep checking the site. It's I had better intentions of having more picks more often, but just so much to do. But I'm going to keep making them as long as people keep buying them.
I got to get one of your handmade ones.
Oh, we'll make.
I don't have
I
I don't have one at all. Every time I want one, they're gone.
It's super cool when I get to like a gathering and I hang out and I see like all the nerds like me and everyone's got like a gold ring sticking out of the top of their pocket. It's really cool.
No,
So thank you for that.
I definitely have a
Except
use
for you
one.
guys. Except for you, Jim.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
have.
no,
Yeah,
such a
I know.
loser.
I need one too. I don't have one.
And you too, Sam.
See, Sam's a loser too. We're just not
Yeah.
cool.
Workbench Con. By the way, me, Bob, and Dave committed to being the speakers at the next Workbench Con. We are going to be like the opening ceremony guys. Me, Bob, and Dave.
Nice.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, we're working out that deal right now, so that'll be fun. Yeah, we had a great time at Workbench Con.
Yeah, it was a
Me
good
and Bob.
time.
Yeah, Dave's coming next year, so
I got to go there too.
it was great. It was. I think it was surprisingly. I think everybody was like, "Wow, this was a lot of fun. This is really cool." And the fans were awesome, and just hanging out and talking to everybody. Just it never ended. I mean, from the minute it started, it ended like 3 days later. There was almost no rest.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
fun.
It's cool. Next question.
Okay, Luther Woodworks sent our next question is, what is one thing you love about NYC and one thing you hate about it?
I like all the people and I hate all the people. I like the variety. I love foods from all over the world. You can really get anything you want. The variety, the compactness, nobody ever sleeps. There's always a place to go get Indian food in the middle of the night. There's a place to always get pizza in the middle of the night, and the garbage picking is the best. The one thing I hate about it is just so many people, and it distracts me in a day. But again, that's a love-hate relationship with New York. I guess the one thing I really hate about New York that I legitimately hate is the congestion. I drive down from up here and I go into the city and I spend about 40% of my day sitting in traffic and trying to find parking. Literally, like almost half my day is spent dealing with the car. And that's the one thing I hate about it. When I first moved to the Lower East Side, I could hop in my car and drive to 14th Street, park there, and come back and park in the spot that I just left a half hour before. Now the city's just so congested. If you get a parking spot, you cherish that parking spot until there's a tow truck in front of you ready to pull you out of it.
Yep.
Just carry road cones with you, and you can put it in your spot when you leave.
None of that. This isn't Boston, dude.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy the city. Sometimes I miss living there in New York. So
when did you live in New York?
2005, 2008. I lived in Staten Island.
Oh, right on. Were you stationed there?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
There in Fort Wadsworth.
Oh, right on. Yeah, Staten Island's like a whole nother world on its own. It's like Madagascar of New York.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
There are things you see on Staten Island you will never see anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Accents and people. Oh my God, it's the bizarrest, most bizarre place.
And they like to claim they're Staten Islanders, not New Yorkers.
Yeah, they can keep it. They can be whatever they want.
Exactly.
Okay, next question comes from Nate at a Young Man's Workshop. What is the most life-changing lesson you have learned in the shop?
It would have to be careful with tools because I cut my pinky off and they sewed it back on. It was cut almost completely through to about 80%. So I had a little band of skin, and when that whole incident could have been completely avoided if I was turned my tool off between measuring. I had my tool on, I had my table saw running with no guard or anything, and a piece of wood I was holding in my hand got caught on the blade and shot through the saw and hit me in my forearm of my right arm while my hand of my pinky of my left hand ran across the blade. So this is my pinky. See the scar on the scar.
Oh.
So it cut through my pinky in like a fist position through the top of my pinky all the way down the side of my hand. So my pinky is about a centimeter shorter. And the summer before, I ran the top of my pinky across the joiner. So my pinky is cut here and here. You can't. The cut kind of blends in, but you can see the scar goes right through here.
Wow.
And my pinky is sewn on at a weird angle, so it looks like I have a thumb on each side of my hand. They sewed it on.
They just looked at it and went, "Oh yeah, that's close enough."
and the doctors told me, they said, "Be careful," because I have most of my pinky is numb because the nerves are all cut through. And he said, "You'll get injured and you won't know it." And I have like a big blister I noticed last night on the tip of my pinky. I didn't even know it was there. I pinched my pinky somewhere, and I felt like a little annoyance. I'm like, what is that? I thought I had a splinter in the tip of my pinky, and I got a big fat blood blister. I pinched it somewhere. I didn't even notice.
Oh,
probably
man.
had one of those electricians sewing it back on that's colorblind. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong nerve.
That's right. That's right. So so just safety, time with tools, take your time. That's the biggest lesson I've learned. And I think most people know that because I've done a video about it. And just be patient. Just being patient and never being in a rush. And sometimes, like when it gets down to doing more fine work, just be patient and really take your time. I have a tendency to rush through things, so I have to remind myself to be patient.
So to send Jimmy a set of push blocks, care of Woodshop, what?
Yeah.
All right. So our next question comes from Mr. Peter Brown.
Oh, I love Peter.
Jimmy's first video on YouTube was done to woo TV producers. Then he found an audience online and said he wasn't interested in TV anymore.
Right.
Now that YouTube has changed so much in the last year, would you consider another TV show deal?
I would, and I have my show coming out with Nick and Amy Poehler on NBC in this fall. It's going to come out, I guess, July through August into September, 6 episodes. And that was fun. Although me not having control of a lot of things is very frustrating because you come from this world where we're all content creators and we can do whatever we want. Suddenly you're in a room with producers saying, wouldn't it be fun if, and you're like, that's a stupid idea. Wouldn't it be great if, and you're like, that sucks. And you're like, wouldn't it be great if that tool sucks? And you're like, oh, wow, I'm just a dancing monkey with strings. And that's really the biggest problem. So I would do TV if there was a huge opportunity to work with a friend like Nick Offerman. And so the experience was fun because I literally just showed up and did what they wanted and left. There was no creative input hardly from my side. I just was a dancing monkey on strings, but I got paid well, and I could say I did a TV show with Nick and Amy. I got to hang out with Amy a lot. It was super fun, and of course I know Nick, so we hung out a lot. And the contestants were fun. When you see that show and there's a group of contestants, you'll see they were all very cool, great people. We had a really wonderful, there's a couple tear jerkers in here and there and throughout the thing. But as far as the TV show goes, I do Skype interviews with TV people all the time, and almost all of them I could tell are going to go nowhere because they're like, so tell me what you do. Do you like? So you can make anything? That's what my son told me. You can make anything? I'm like, oh, this person has no idea who I am.
Yeah.
But if the right opportunity came along and I get to work with cool people, there was recently a show being bantered about me restoring antique machines. And I would love to do that, but that's not suitable for TV because
it takes a long time.
Takes a long time to, they want to see, like, what can we do in 4 days? And these dumb deadlines you see on all these stupid shows like Forged in Fire are so the production schedule could be done. So the TV aspect of it is buttoned up and done. It has nothing to do with the quality of what they're making, which is, has always been a big roadblock for making and TV shows. Mm-hmm. It's always like, what can you make in 5 minutes with this found garbage? Like, garbage.
I can fill another trash can.
Right.
I can
so if a long form show would ever want to come and do something fun, like for instance, I'm working on my Power Hammer video. I started that last May because that's when I got it. So obviously there are lots like my Lord puzzle video, which I just made. That took that was a day's worth of work. That was quick and easy. That was definitely a TV scheduled show. But sometimes things take longer. The knife I made recently, this big hacker knife that I made, this blacksmith knife I made, I started that in November, and then I got kind of stalled because I wasn't really sure which direction to take it, and I really wasn't happy with the design I had set forth. And I look at all the footage on my video, I'm like, oh, I've already set a tone for this video. I don't really like where it's going. And Brett pushed me. Brett's like, dude, that's going to be a great video. Just finish it. And so I did, and I really liked that I did because we had fun with it, cutting the burrito at the end, just being stupid. And you could tell, like, when I'm being silly, it's when I kind of lose confidence in a project. I'm like, let me just have a laugh. Do you guys curse on the show? You could bleep me. And so that's where my silliness comes into, is kind of just having fun. So long answer, yes, I would do a TV show if it was the right fit, but almost 100% of the ideas are horrible, and the people are horrible that come up with them.
Plus, they have a tendency not to last very long, like maybe 2 seasons, and then they get canceled.
They don't give it time. It's funny, like when you could tell there's no confidence in a show when you're at lunch break. Everyone's on their phone trying to get the next job.
Yep.
The line producer, the cameraman, the camera assistant, the director, they're all like, God, this job fell through. I'm like, when does it shoot? I was going to shoot next week. I'm like, wait a minute, are we making a show next week? Oh, I was going to get in a substitute to take over my place here.
Gotta stand in, gotta fill in.
Yep. Substitute, please. Okay. Next question comes from Prince Allen. Makers are often as good in the kitchen as they are in the workshop. Does Jimmy cook, for one? And if so, what is your favorite dish to serve up?
I do cook, and I was making chili for a couple years in a row. I really like the chili that I make. It's really good. Did you just do Salt Babe? Drew, did you just do Salt Babe? Did you just do that? I thought you did like a gesture.
No. No, didn't do that.
Oh, I thought you did Salt Babe. I'm like, yeah, I like to do. That's how I disperse my salt. I bounce it off my elbow. No, I make chili and a grilled chicken, and from time to time I get on a health kick, which I'm gearing up to be. I got to lose about 20 pounds because when you notice when I'm not in videos, it's because I'm not feeling confident to be on camera. You see just my hands and occasionally my elbows. And that's when you know that I'm not. I love shooting myself. That's another reason I like shooting TV, because This NBC show, I'm not even going to watch it. They shot this whole thing. I don't know what I look like. My love handles, my bald spots, all that's going to, so I'm like, I don't want anybody to see any of that. So it's good to edit my own video. But when it comes to kitchen stuff, I'm a pretty good cook. Taylor's a much better cook than me, so she always kind of takes over. And she'll watch me cut a tomato or something, and she'll be like, well, I hate tomatoes, but she'll watch me cut an onion and go, that's how you cut an onion? Is that? And then I go, you just do it. And then I leave the kitchen and go, I'll be in here editing a video. You make the onion. So it's hard to be around someone that's a better cook than you. That's kind of like a little bit of a control freak in the kitchen. So when Taylor's not around at all, I'll cook. Give me a Spike. Spike
That's so funny.
Oh, Spike's complaining. I just let him in the room.
Look,
Spike.
He's so cute.
Hey, Spike.
They're so cute.
That's the mascot right there.
Yep.
He's
Look at him.
like, put me down, please.
I went down.
Get away from me.
So, Sam, I'm going to turn the show over to you because I know you got some questions to ask.
Yes, I have a couple. Okay, so the first one is from Tim's Timber. Do you have any Instagram tips for people?
Well, it's funny. Do you guys know Mike the Maker? Mikey the Maker?
Mm-hmm.
Mike,
Yes.
That's part of the producing team on the Workbench Con. And he has a very young Instagram channel. I think it's only a year old. And he's got, shut up, Spike. And he's got a lot of followers. And he said the key to his success, and I'm taking his advice, is little short movies. Like putting he puts like a level down on the table and like clicks it, and then that's his movie, and then it gets like hundreds of thousands of views. So that I think is a good thing. Posting frequently and interesting stuff, I think, is another very important thing. You gotta I gotta be careful with my Instagram stories because I did Walmart last night and then my phone died, so I never had an ending to my Walmart story. But we went from Home Depot to Walmart, and I just try and show interesting things that really I'm like, what the F is this all about? And I try to be funny, but little quips. When someone does an Instagram story in there, it's hard to do an Instagram story where they're talking about philosophy. And it's like, well, what I was saying was, and then they end in there. Well, what I was going to say was, and then in 10-second clip, somebody wants to basically do a 10-minute conversation. I don't watch that. So I don't know if these get views. But little funny clips and quips are cute and fun, and post frequently and post often, and don't put up boring crap. That's it. Just don't put up boring. That's it.
What would you say?
I talked to Mikey about it too because we were talking about his views, and he said getting picked up on the Discover page is like the best. If you get picked up on the Discover page instead of like it's great if your followers see it, but also the Discover page is like 100%. If you get picked up on that, that's great. Then you'll have way more views.
Yeah.
So
I was going to ask you real quick. What is the? You said post often. What is your idea of often? Because that's
once a day. Like once a day, once every 2 days. That's me personally. Like I will have not posted in a long while. Like last night, I realized I hadn't posted since I put up my. I announced I was selling something on eBay. Because I've been so wrapped up in the shop, and I posted the slow-mo of the power hammer going, which the reason I shot that was so I could observe how the hammer was hitting. I was looking for a particular adjustment. And then I was watching it again, and I was like, oh, this will make a great little Instagram video. So I put it up on Instagram, and everyone's joking about how it's very sexual because it's really slow-mo, and it's the thing going in and out. So everyone, somebody goes, oh, I had to have a cigarette after watching that. And it was really funny. My dad just left me a voicemail, so I'm a little distracted. And so that was fun. So we'll see if that grows my channel. Somebody goes, I went to, one of the comments was, I Googled RedTube and it brought me here. What the hell is this? RedTube's a porn channel for us virgin. Anyway.
Okay, next question. On that note, next question. Okay, so this guy is from the Wheelchair Woodworker. He would love to take one of your classes, and he was wondering if the shop will be wheelchair accessible.
It probably could be. Yeah, it could be. I mean, one thing about it, when we have the group people here, when there are a group of people, everybody helps each other. So I can only imagine if somebody who was here had special needs, everybody would be of assistance, because there's a really great communal aspect that happens around the maker crew. And especially when you have a tight-knit crew, like 10 or 12 people here, everybody's super, 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 super all about getting everybody to a happy place. So I'm sure we could work that out if we ended up having something. And then I have a bathroom and a bedroom on the ground floor of the house, so, although there's a couple of steps to come up and down.
But perfect. That's awesome. And then AD Home Edition says, do you have some advice for beginner builders? What's your top
experiment? That is the main thing. Experiment and don't have high expectations other than learning. I see a lot of people, they think they can go in the shop and make something perfect the first time. The most important thing is to experiment, get reference points. That's what I always say. Get a reference. Use the saw, chop wood up, cut a piece of wood up. I remember once when I was a little kid, I was working with my uncle as an assistant, and he handed me a 2x4 and a box of nails. He said, hit every one of these nails into this piece of wood. I'm like, okay. He said, don't come back till you're done. He was frustrated and annoyed with me. But it was a way to keep me busy, but he was teaching me a lesson of pound all these nails into that, and by the time you're at your last 10 nails, you will have a better grasp on how to do this. So experiment, make things with low expectations, and the only expectation you should have is of learning. And then as you develop your skills, I always compare it to somebody who plays guitar or violin. Do you think they went right into the violin shop and picked the violin up and were able to play anything that sounded reasonably good? It takes practice, and so does everything. So woodworking is definitely within there. People watch my videos and they go, oh, you make it look so easy. I've been doing this for 45 years. I mean, I literally been making things since I'm like 6, 7 years old. And it just comes with comfortability, comes with repeat processing. So that's it. You just got to do it over and over and over again.
Yes, definitely. Okay, I have 2 questions. Blues Woodworking wants to know, what would you recommend for shop heat?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. I have no idea.
And you're in New York.
A lot of layers. We have a little wood stove in my big warehouse, which is really not very well insulated. It's insulated, but there's holes everywhere. The wind blows right through the place. It was an old shipping warehouse that trucks would drive in, so the trucks hit every wall 50 times, so every wall's got holes poked through it. And nobody can climb through it, but it's big enough for wind to blow through, so it's really annoying. You set up a wood stove. This way you can get rid of all your scraps, and everything gets shoved into the wood stove, all the boxes, all the UPS boxes. And so we keep the heat going that way. And there's about an 8 or 9 foot circle envelope of warm air around it at any given time. So we're like lizards in the sun, like between cuts. We'll walk over to the stove and stand there for a couple minutes, then walk back over to what we're doing. We had the blowers, the turbo blowers, but that's just like having a car exhaust pointing at you all day long. You get the benefit of the heat, but then we feel woozy and you stink at the end of the day. You smell like you've been inside of a gas garage all day. So I think what happened over the winter, they built up some sort of residual in the turbo burning area, and it's getting worse now. So when you turn them on, immediately your eyes start watering. I think there's some sort of buildup in there that's worse than from the day we first turned them on. So we hardly use those anymore.
My parents have a wood stove, and they put an oscillating fan beside it and just kind of blow that envelope of hot air that was around it throughout the room.
It would go about 2 feet before it froze and fell on the ground. That air, you'd see the air falling on the ground.
Yeah.
But what we do on the wood stove, anything steel and metal, we lean on the wood stove. So when the wood stove gets hot, and actually a fan gave me another wood stove, so I haven't hooked it up, so I just put it next to that wood stove. So I have all this cast iron, all my metal chunks and my weights and everything are all on top of the wood stove. So as it heats up, it basically becomes one big radiator. So when the fire sort of tends to burn out, it's still radiating heat because you have all the steel that's hot. So that's pretty cool.
That's
a little tip somebody told me a while ago. They said, put all your metal weights on there and they'll all stay hot. And until I need a metal weight, I got to pick it up with an oven.
And then, you're like...
Can y'all go get that for me?
Yeah.
Oh, that would hurt. Okay, so I think that's it. So, someone wanted to know why do you love the ice pick so much?
I've always used it as a tool. started using it, and then I started using it in a video, and then I started customizing it in a video, and then people started seeing the benefits of ice picks, and not necessarily as a killing tool or an intimidation tool, but as a tool to. It's like a 1-point knife. That's what I always say. It's like you have knives, you use knife. Why do you use a knife all the time? An ice pick is just a knife that has 1 pixel on the tip. And so you could drag it, and you could scratch, and you could cut. You could rip open a box with it. You could open an envelope with it. Yep. You could eat your food with it. You can get the last olive out of the jar with it.
Yeah, the last pickle. I was just going to think you could get it with the last pickle because it's so hard.
Totally. And because you don't want to pour out the pickle juice. You're like, this is needed. We need the pickle juice for something. So you have
the little pickle.
And it's great. It's just great for like picking up anything small. Like how often I started using it a lot too, because when I began to CNC in 2013 is my first CNC experience. Holding down little bits and pieces because I cut letters a lot. So sometimes, even though you put tabs, does anybody CNC at all?
Sure,
you three guys? So you leave tabs on things, and the tabs always break through unless you leave big hefty tabs. And the tabs will always break through, especially on MDF. They never hold because they get down to a little piece of MDF and it shakes loose. So I use the ice pick a lot to hold down the letters that are being cut out or whatever it is that's being cut out. I'll hold it down with the tip of the ice pick so my fingers don't get near the blade, the rotating cutter. So that's really where the ice pick comes in tremendously handy a lot is when I'm CNCing, and I could also clean out a cut line if it's getting too full.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But for
I was going to say your ice pick is like a staple in my
there you go.
bag. I mean, I take it to all my installs. It works really good for sheetrock. So I mean, if I'm hanging pictures or something, I hold up the hanger with the ice pick, and then I get the picture level, and then I poke it, and then I've got a perfect set. So
I just want to go grab ours. Because now you better tell me when they're ready because I want one. Because we just have like an actual ice pick and my grandpa has used it for like 50 years. So it's like old, but we use it for everything.
When I was a kid, I saw it inside of a hardware store. I must have been 20 years old as a kid. I saw an ice pick in a wooden sheath.
Yep,
I did too. I bought that. I still have that same one. And that was sort of the very first inspiration for me to have an ice pick in a sheath. And then Taylor and I were in the garment district years ago, like maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And one of the little things at the cashier of this sewing store was a little tiny awl. It was an ice pick, a small ice pick. And I bought one and I stuck it in and out of my pants. So I had it like kind of pinned through the leg of my pants. And so it was always there. And then I remembered I wanted to put a sheath on it. So that went from being pinned through the leg of my pants all the time as my everyday carry to then having a sheath and just deep down in my pocket. And it's just slowly progressed. And then everybody wanted one. I never said, I'm going to make an ice pick. I'm going to popularize the ice pick. I just used it, and people said, hey, make me one. I was like, no, make yourself one. This is all about learning how to do things yourself. And then I started getting emails.
I like how he's like, this is about learning how to do things. It's like totally turning.
He's like, keep saying your money.
Then people started saying, like I started getting emails from spouses of people and saying, I want to get one of these for my partner, but I have no ability to make it, but I want to surprise them. Is this something you could make? And so I got more and more requests like that. And then a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you just pre-sell 100? And if they sell, you make them. And that was the beginning.
That's really cool.
I need a nice pick now.
Now I want one. So you better like save one.
Save two.
The
save
400.
Three. Save three. I need another handmade one.
You guys, I'll get you guys locked down. Don't worry about it.
Perfect. Yes. Because we use it all the time. So that's awesome. Perfect.
Cool.
That's it. That's all my questions.
I'm going to use it to poke my kids when they're out of line. Get back over there. Go clean up your toys. No.
I said make your bed.
Go get it done now.
Yeah, seriously.
No, I use like a cheap scratch awl, and essentially it's the same thing. And I try to take the ice pick out of my kitchen. Got in trouble for that one, so I need one solely dedicated for my shop.
Well, Jeremy, do you have any questions from anybody that?
No, I put all mine in there. You asked.
Okay,
me.
I just want to make sure.
You guys have any questions? You got me? Any personal questions?
I'm gonna wait and ask you some questions on the after show.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Make people want more. If you want more, go to the after show.
Come on, patrons.
All you gotta do is $1. $1 will get you access.
That's right.
Okay, that's my pitch is $1 for everything.
That's it.
Full access for $1.
How about $1 for every question?
I'll do that. Let's do it.
All right. Well, we'd like to remind you that if you listen to the show on iTunes, just please give us a 5-star rating. It helps us reach a greater audience. And like we were talking about before, having access to our after show, just become a patron. $1 is all it takes, and you'll get to hear the after show. It's usually great fun, kind of uncensored, really, just a really good show. So for contact info, Jimmy, go ahead and feed that information to everybody again one more time, just in case they missed last week.
You could find me on Google. That's my website. Google is actually created just for me, so you just type my name in the top. And Jimmy Diresta at Mac.com. If you're lucky, you win the lottery. I'll answer you back. Joke from last week.
So if you guys want to get in contact with Jeremy, Sam, or myself, you can go to our respective websites, which is countrysideworkshop.com, samryandesigns.com, and rhwoodshop.com. There's contact information on all of our websites that gives feeds for not only just the website contact, but also the social media. We're pretty active on just about everything, except Jeremy doesn't like Twitter, so don't even bother tweeting
Twitter?
him.
Which Twitter?
Yeah, see, exactly. Yeah.
How did you all cook up? How did the three of you guys connect to do a podcast?
I was the guest host, and then I stayed.
So we couldn't get rid of her. She wouldn't go away, so we just decided to add her.
Yeah.
And how long have you been?
A year.
Yep.
Just 1 year. So.
Right on.
So Drew, so we started right. I think we announced it right at the same time that y'all announced making it, and it was really like that was right when YouTube was getting real big, and I wanted to do something. I wanted to figure out a way to get in front of other audience that couldn't watch video all the time.
Right.
So I decided podcasting was it, and for 6 months I consumed every YouTube video that I could get a hold of, and my wife was tired of it because literally every waking minute was YouTube videos. Trying to find like who I thought would be a good guest or a co-host, and Drew's personality was like right on point. I thought we'd click. I asked Drew, and then like a month later, we were recording our first episode.
Oh, very cool.
So
we got our podcast, and this might be a story maybe you heard, but we started our podcast because the three of us were commenting in a Facebook post, and then this friend of ours said, "Why don't you guys do a podcast together?" And then all the fans were like, "Yeah, that would be awesome." And so we talked privately for the very first time on a phone call, and we said, "Well, let's do it. If it sucks, nobody will have to hear it. We won't even ever say we tried." And so we did episode 1, and that's how it started. 160 episodes later.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was fun.
It's going on 4 years. It's hard to think back and go, "Hey, 4 years ago we all started podcasting."
I know, it's crazy. I can't believe we just did the math, and 7 years ago I started doing my YouTube channel. I had a YouTube channel when YouTube first started, and I didn't really know what to do with it. And then after my last TV experience, I was like, "Oh, let me just do YouTube instead." My girlfriend prompted me. She's like, "You make these videos all the time. Why don't you just do them on YouTube, and you don't have anybody to deal with?" And then I could just get experimental, which is great. I could still get experimental, but then the fans get mad at me. They're like, "Wait a minute, this isn't what I signed up for 8 years ago. I want you to stay exactly the same." Mm-hmm. So,
I like the voice you just made.
Wait a minute.
What is this? This is you're talking. You're not supposed to be talking. You should just make stuff. No one cares what you have to say.
Didn't even know you had a voice.
Thought you were just hands and arms and elbows. That's all.
It's funny. I'll put out 3 build videos, literally 3, like within like 10 days or maybe 12, 13 days. And then I'll do a post a vlog. And then the comment will be, "You don't make anything anymore. No one cares what you have to say."
Crazy. I think the vlogs are cool because then it like gets you to know the person. To me, that's I don't want to watch you build. I kind of want to know who you are, and then it's cool to watch you build.
Actually, me starting my vlogs, I'm working on episode 68 now. Me starting my vlogs was really me finally giving in 100% into YouTube and not caring ever again if I ever got on TV. Because I always said, I'll do this on YouTube for fun, and then I'll be myself on TV if it ever comes around again. And then I just came to the realization that this is my TV channel, and this is my show, my so-called TV show, and this is it. And this is where I could be myself and do exactly what I want and highlight who I want. And I mean, so many times on the TV shows that we've done, I was like, oh, let's get my friend in, and they'll meet him. They're like, let's just stick with what we got.
Yeah.
You don't like him, or he wasn't wearing good clothes, or he's schlumpy or whatever. But, I like being able to interview maker weirdos and people that I feel like I can relate to. And that's why I like my vlog, because in a moment's notice, I'll be hanging out with somebody and they'll be really intriguing, and I'll be like, hey, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions on camera? And they'll be like, I don't know what a camera is. I'm like, no, it's just this black box. Just relax and all that
It's just look right here.
Yeah.
I love that aspect of being able to introduce the world to new makers that otherwise wouldn't necessarily have a channel, or do have a channel, and we just get a few minutes together to say hello.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Definitely.
Nice. All right, well, let's jump into the after show, and we'll hear more about what's next for Jimmy, and hopefully he can convince Sam to get on YouTube sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I do have a question. Are we in the after show now?
No, because Drew's got to sign us off. He's just gonna sit here and keep staring at us like this awkward dude. Like he's just like.
Okay, well, if you guys want to get in contact with the podcast episode or with the podcast group, just send us an email, kickback@woodshop101podcast.com. You can also send us a voicemail, which is 409-234-3959. Also, the voice memo you can use on your phone and send it to the email address we just listed. And that will be featured up on the show. And you can give us kickback or questions, what have you. We love hearing those. So from Jimmy, Jeremy, Sam, and myself, we want to wish you guys well. Please be safe in your shops. We will see you on the after show. So 1, 2, 3, boom!
Boom!